then guys, what is up? Welcome back to another video. Not long finished work. I'm actually just outside of the gym. I'm gonna eat some Rice Krispie cereal bars. That's gonna be my pre-workout meal. What do I have here? I have some Bex's beers. I'm probably gonna have a few of them. And yeah, just get in the mood to go to the gym, you know. No, just kidding, obviously. I wanted to make this video, and it's going to be on ways that you can get cheap car insurance, or how to get cheap car insurance for specifically for a young driver. Obviously, when it comes to driving at like 17, 18, 19, one of the biggest expenses usually is your car insurance. Now, a lot of people nowadays at 17, 18, they're complaining that, you know, they're having to spend like £2,000 on, like, you know, 150 horsepower hatchback. Where when I was 17, when I just passed my test, I had a 1 litre Corsa, yes, a 1 litre 3-cylinder 59 horsepower Vauxhall Corsa. Is like 2003. The car cost like £1,500, and the insurance for 10 months, I believe, was like £3,200. £3,200 for 10 months on a 1 litre Vauxhall Corsa. Like, and then you get some people that are complaining, you know, they have like a Fiesta ST and they gotta pay like £2,000. Now that was actually like cheap for me at the time. Like the 1 litre Corsa, the 59 horsepower one, was actually like the cheapest car to insure at the time for me. There's probably still not, you know, far off being the cheapest car to insure right now. Corsas are generally one of the cheapest insurance bracket cars, especially for young drivers. That's why they're so, you know, common and popular. But I guess I want to go into some, you know, some deeper details on how you guys can really save yourself some money. Now, the 3 biggest factors when it comes to getting your car insurance quote down are going to be your age, your postcode, your location, wherever you live, and also the amount of no claims bonus that you have. So those are the 3 like top factors which define your car insurance quotes that you're going to be getting. Now obviously you can't, you know, realistically you can't change any of those straight away. You know, you can't change your age unless you wait, you know, a few years before you actually start driving on the road. You can't gain no claims bonus without having insurance in the first place, although I will give you a quick little tip, you know, a little trick that you can do to actually get your no claims bonus quicker. And obviously you can't change where you live. So there's a lot of other little small things that you can do to try and bring your quotes down. Now I'm gonna dive into what I was saying about how you can get your no claims quicker. Now obviously I mentioned that I paid £3,200 for 10 months. Now you're probably thinking, why did you get 10 months? Why not 12 months? Now the thing is, certain car insurance companies, now I know here in the UK, I think it's like Elephant, Admiral and Diamond. Are Diamond even still a car insurance company anymore? I don't know, but I'm pretty sure they're all 3 like of the same, they're all like part of the same insurance group. And they all offer this 10-month accelerator bonus, whatever they call it. And essentially you get 10 months insurance, but after that 10 months is up, providing you haven't made a claim, or no one's made a claim against you obviously, that, you know, you gain 1 year's no claims. So you basically gain 12 months no claims bonus for only 10 months insurance policy, which is pretty good, you know. I recommend it to, you know, new drivers in like the first couple of years, because you can essentially get like 3 years no claims bonus in like 30 months, which is like, what's that, 2.5 years? So you're getting, you know, you're building up your no claims bonus quicker, which is obviously, like I said, one of the 3 main factors which is going to be bringing your car insurance quotes down. So then, that's a little tip how you can gain your no claims bonus quicker. Now, another thing which is worth playing around with when you go onto these, you know, car insurance comparison websites is going to be your job title. Now, I don't mean straight up lying, you know, saying you're an astronaut, saying you're a doctor if you're not, although a doctor is actually a bad profession to get car insurance quotes for. Doctors, for whatever reason, their like car insurance quotes are super high. I think it's because they generally do like really long shifts after not much sleep, so they're at high risk of crashing. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. So yeah, don't straight up lie, but you can play around with the technicalities, you know, when it comes to your actual job title. So say like, for example, me, I'm like a delivery driver, so that could come under like courier driver, it could come under like van driver, it could come under like truck driver. There's so many different ways to describe your job title, right? So little things like that, it's so simple to do, and it's actually surprising, like changing your job title slightly is, you know, it's surprising how much money you can actually save. So it's definitely worth spending a little bit of time and just tweaking your job title a little bit and seeing if you're actually going to save yourself any money. Now, another massive thing which can actually save you a good deal of money is going to be named drivers. Now, obviously, you yourself are always going to be the main driver. Never put someone else as the main driver and you as the named driver. That's illegal. That's called fronting, and doing so, obviously you're breaking the law, but you're not going to be gaining any no claims bonus. So therefore, in the future, you're not actually benefiting yourself. You're not making your insurance quotes in the future any cheaper. So always make yourself as the main driver, but then also play around with named drivers. Now, a lot of people say this, you know, add your mom, add your dad, add like anyone who's an experienced driver. Now, that's true, but it's never always the case. For me, the past 2 years, I think it's actually been cheaper to me to have just me alone as a standalone main driver and not have any other named drivers as a comprehensive quote. Now, I don't know why this is, but it's definitely worth playing around with people that are, you know, at a decent age, whether that's like 30, 40 years old plus, and have got a lot of experience when it comes to driving, and obviously don't have convictions or any claims in the past 5 years. It's definitely worth adding them on. Trying, you know, getting quotes with them added onto your policy, and then with them not added onto your policy. But don't always assume that adding more named drivers is going to be better. Some people might make it go up, some people might make it go down, and that as well, that ties into the job title thing. Play around with the named drivers' job titles. Obviously, don't lie, but just play around with the title, you know, see how you can manipulate it to try and get yourself a cheaper quote. Another thing, now this is kind of like a small little trivial thing, but it's where you're actually going to be parking your car overnight. Now, you would tend to believe that surely, you know, the most secure place that you leave it is going to return you the cheapest quote, right? So the most secure place that most people have is in the garage. Now, for whatever reason, on my, you know, from my experience, every time I've done it, it's always been cheaper for me to say that I'll leave it on the driveway as opposed to in the garage. Now, I don't know if this, you know, brings into the fact that if someone breaks into your garage to steal your car, then it brings in, you know, brings your home insurance into it. Other things could be damaged. I don't really know if that's a factor behind it. But like I said, definitely play around with it. Obviously, don't lie. You know, if you're leaving it 2 miles down the street and you're saying you're leaving it in the garage, and then your car gets stolen and your garage doesn't look like it's been broken into, they're going to be like, well, it doesn't look like your garage has been broken into. And then, you know, they see that some guy down the road has got CCTV of your car being stolen. Don't expect for your car insurance company to pay out. So again, don't lie, but definitely play around with it. Like I said, for me, it's always been cheaper when I've said that I left it on the drive, which I do leave it on my drive as opposed to leaving it in the garage. My dad's car's in the garage. So it's definitely worth playing around with that, because that can actually make a fairly big difference with the price. I was thinking it was like £100 or £200 difference. Now, another way that you can save yourself some money, and it's actually a thing that not a lot of people actually know about, and you wouldn't actually like think it would make that much difference, but it's actually the date and the day that your policy begins on. So it was crazy. Like when I got my quote for the car that I'm in now, the Vauxhall Corsa 1.3 TDTI, I said that I was going to start the policy on I don't remember the exact day, but let's say I said I was going to start the policy on a Wednesday, right? 4 weeks in advance. Well, I was getting a quote of like £800, and then I said I was going to start the policy on a Saturday, same amount of time in advance, and it dropped down to like £700. So it's like ridiculous how just manipulating the day in which your policy starts on. Obviously, you know, you need to be covered all the time that you're driving, but you might want to start it a day early, you might want to start it a day later and just wait a day. If it means you're saving like £100, it's definitely worth it in my opinion. So, you know, that's another way that you can save yourself money. With all of these factors, with all of these tricks, you definitely need to spend some time, you know, invest the time, because you're going to be saving yourself hundreds of pounds, and you know, that's definitely worth, you know, messing around on a comparison website for an hour, you know, just to save yourself a few £100, isn't it? So it's definitely worth doing. I definitely recommend it, and I always do it, you know, when renewal time comes. I don't ever settle for the renewal price that that my previous insurance company offers me. There's always a better quote to be had, trust me. And if there's not, there's another point now. If, say for example, it's coming to your renewal time, so it's not your first year of driving, I guess this could actually be relevant to your first year of driving, the same principle really. So I'm going to explain it now. So say for example, you find the best quote, or your previous insurance company gives you the best quote. Then search around on a comparison website, or don't really, and say, oh, and you know, give them a ring up and say, oh, I've actually managed to beat your quote by like £200–300, so I'm thinking of leaving, or I'm thinking of not having your quote. And then they say, oh, okay then, oh, we don't really want to lose you as a customer, you know, we value your custom, so let me see what I can do. And they usually like mess around with like a few little trivial settings, and you know, I don't know how they do it. Like, I'm pretty sure they have like so much leeway that they can give, like, to try and keep you on board as a customer. But you know, I didn't that this time. I literally just said, oh, I've actually found a quote like £200 cheaper, so I'm probably going to leave, to be honest. They said, oh, well, we don't really want you to leave, so we can actually match that quote. And I said, oh, okay, we'll beat it by like £50, and then I'll stay with you. And they managed to do that somehow. So you know, it's definitely worth ringing up. Like I said, it's definitely worth taking the extra time to save yourself more money. It's what it's all about. Like I said, when you're new to driving especially, insurance is going to be one of your biggest expenses. It's going to be the thing that puts people off the most. So it's definitely worth spending the time, you know, putting in the hours on these comparison websites, making a few phone calls to save yourself a lot of money. Okay, so there's actually like one more thing that I can think of. I'm not like scripting this video, I'm just, you know, thinking of things off the top of my head. But that is your annual mileage. That is, you know, the amount of miles that you're going to be on the road, and the amount of, you know, miles that your car's going to be, you know, clocking up each year essentially. Now, you would assume that if you're on the road less, i.e., you know, you're doing less miles, that you would be at a lower risk of being in an accident, because, you know, you're on the road less, so chances are you've got less chance of being in an accident, right? Not always the case. I actually just played around with it, you know, just for just to see, just out of curiosity really. Like, I'll put it at like 1,000 miles, then 2,000 miles, then 3,000 miles, and I actually noticed that as I was adding more mileage on, the quote was going down. So I don't know if they do this to try and like catch out people that are lying about the quotes, or if they do it because essentially if you're on the road less, you're gonna be gaining less experience. I don't know how they work it out, but it's definitely worth playing around with your mileage. Like, to me, I found the sweet spot to be like 8,000 to 10,000 miles. Obviously, if you're doing less than this, it's okay to put more than what you're doing. Obviously, don't put less than what you're doing, but it's okay to put more mileage down than what you're actually doing. So yeah, that like affected my quote, I think like 50 to 100 pound again. So, you know, it's definitely worth playing around with the annual mileage. Like I said, I'm pretty sure that's the last little trick that I have up my sleeve. I hope this video has helped some of you guys, especially the new young drivers out there. I'm pretty sure it will do, because like, these things that I'm saying, they're tried and tested by myself. It's not as if I'm just like randomly, you know, trying to think of some new innovative way to like save yourself some money. They are tried and tested by, like, you know, thousands of people. So definitely give some of these tricks a go. I'm going to end this video here. Please give it a like, leave a comment down below, subscribe if you haven't already, and also leave a comment down below on any other videos you'd like me to make, you know, whether it be car related or not. And I'm going to see you in that next video.